In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products?
When constructing our media product, from the early stages of planning, our ideas started to fall together, and we noticed that there was a similarity in our ideas to the film that already exists called Obsessed. So when we first noticed that ours was similar to this, we began to research the film in more detail and began to watch the trailer in more depth. We noticed that there are many techniques and conventions of the thriller genre that existed in this media trailer that we wish to mimic as well. There are certain shots and editing techniques that we chose to use in our trailer. Without watching Obsessed, we probably wouldn't have thought to have used them. Some of these were the jump shot editing and fast-paced black screen shots. I'll just show you those now. So they're the fast-paced black screenshots, and this is the jump shot editing.
We have an appointment with us.
One convention that we tried to challenge was continuity editing. We felt that because it was a trailer, we didn't want the narrative to run consecutively and consistently the whole way throughout, as we thought that it would give the storyline away a little bit. So we wanted there to be an element of ambiguity that was still there, and we did this by recording random shots of Isabella that were quite short in length and weren't really relevant to the narrative at the time, but we just put them in to break the story up a little bit. Another convention that we challenged, which isn't typical of this genre, is the breaking of the fourth wall. There are multiple instances where Isabella makes eye contact with the camera. We did this on purpose as we wanted our character to be a lot more sinister and endearing. We wanted people to actually feel on edge because of her, and we felt that this was appropriate, being as it was a thriller within the thriller genre. So here's an example of Isabella doing that. An element that we tried to develop in our trailer was the juxtaposition of colour. In Obsessed, we see that the colours used at certain points are very cold and tepid colours, and this is used to show the coldness in the relationship and what's going on in the narrative. In contrast to this, it then switches to the family scenes. The saturation is increased and the colour and that ambience is very warm. This is a subtle way of showing the evident differences in feelings between the two situations within the narrative. I felt that this was a very clever method of construction and editing, and I wanted to mimic this within our trailer also. So here's the example of the cold colours in Obsessed. And here's an example of the warm colours when it switches to the family scenes.
Why didn't you call me back today? We had a temp issue, didn't even know about.
Similarly, in our trailer, I can just show you. Here the colours are very warm. There's a lot of reds and browns. However, when it switches to the scene of Isabella, the colours switch to very cold blues. This is something that runs consistently the whole way throughout. So they're all the ways that, well, some of the ways that I tried to use, develop and challenge forms of and conventions of real media products.